their human capacities. For last 10 years, we were in many ways involved with other corporates to enhance their leadership skills, and through our coaching, our training, and various other interventions. So I've been consultants for 15 years in that field. And lately we added executive coaching and various other methods of, developing and sharing and caring for leaders. Okay, so with that, today's session is specifically designed, though it is a short stint, our intention is to create value in that time. So you can see the topic itself, to harness the power of conversations. So basically, you know that if I tell you like this way, the purpose of having a conversation, right? Or having a conversation, as you know already, the whole gift of conversation, depending on how much we are connecting to each other, right? So this is not something new, but again, it is something that we need to relook at, how we are connecting to each other in a conversation. And it can be in organizational setup, it can be with as parents, father, mother, the children, or anyway, like conversations are the life force. And also, if you really look at conversations, help us to give and take. It's a natural giving. So let us look at what does it mean by natural giving also. Yes, so I think my way of delivery is question and answers. So you can open up the camera if you like. And if you like to be behind the camera, that's fine. But I would like you to get into a conversation when it is possible, right? Yeah. So let me go to the other slide and let us play. I'm going to stop sharing. First of all, okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. So what kind of conversations that you are in? So generally, what is our default pattern for a conversation? Now, example. So I'm used to teach. So sometimes my default pattern is more of teaching. Even with my wife, with my children also, it comes to me like I'm defaulting myself to teaching kind of a conversation, right? That is not, maybe it appropriate to certain contexts, or the other contexts it is not appropriate. Yeah. So what is your default pattern? Can anyone create a discussion around this? Monavage pattern ekanda tiyenne. Yeah, Quintus, go ahead.
When you start a conversation, like you said, we used to talk about, if you're a teacher, so you want to take that accept. So
yeah,
even us will greet, and the approach will be what we are looking for, what we are interested. So same approach we will talk about. So if I'm interested about music, so we'll start about talking music. Likewise.
What you're saying is sometimes default pattern is we will go on with our interest without much of looking at what the other person is seeking, right? So it can turn into advising, it can turn into more of arguing, sometimes trying to prove I am right, and you are wrong. So you can see conversations are very complex. Sometimes we end up with all good intention, we start the conversation and we end up with a totally unexpected way, right? I see Anjali is also in. Hi, Anjali. All right, so let me take you back onto the presentation. Thank you, Quintus, for that interaction.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Hi. Actually, like we just started.
Okay.
I'm going to take you through the next slide. I would like you to enjoy this slide. I'm going to play a music, right? A song. May I ask you to sit back properly and slow down yourself and very quietly listen to this, right? And let me know what you are understanding here, okay?
All right.
I never feel more given to than when you take from me. When you understand the joy I feel caring for you. And you know my giving isn't done. To put you in my debts.
Sorry, it stopped, right?
But because I want to live the love I feel for you. To receive with grace may be the greatest giving. There's no way that I can separate the two. When you give to me, I give you my receiving. And when you take from me, I feel so given to.
All right. All right. So I would like to ask you a question. So giving and receiving. So without giving, there isn't receiving. So what is it that you created? What kind of picture that you created when listening to that song? Anyone? Have you heard it clearly? I'm just checking, okay? Yeah, helping people. Wow. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Jayashekhar, yes? I don't know, Mr. or Mrs. Sorry, I see the name as Jayashekhar. Go ahead, share with...
Mr.
Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
It's an give and take, no?
Of course, of course. Yeah, give and take, right? There isn't any anything cannot be given unless someone receive it, right? Beautiful words there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Give and take. Yes. Any other thoughts? Yeah, Anjali?
Better to give rather
Yeah.
than receive.
That is your opinion. Thank you for sharing. That is your opinion. But right now, what we are talking here is the beauty of a conversation. So conversation
Okay.
without giving and receiving, there isn't a conversation. So ideally, we would like a conversation to be more of a dialogue and very enjoyable. But most of the time, it may not end up in such a way. Because we play a game. What is the game that we play? We want to know that the other person that I am right. I am right game you all play, right? Okay, so with that, I just want to take it forward. The most beautiful thing that a person can enjoy is having a good conversation. So let me take you through a few steps of having a good conversation, right? Now, any conversation, so I'm going to share with you a few steps and I'm going to create this little conversation around this. First, observe and then separate judgment from your observation, right? So I will just say this, we'll do a little bit of exercise and then also capture the feelings. that coming out with those words, and then understand the need when you are expressing something or giving something or getting as a recipient of a conversation. What is the exact need the other person is having, and make a request. So we are going to practice around this. I'll take one by one, right? And as you know, clear expressing how I am without blaming or criticizing is going to be a rich ground for conversation. But majority, most of the time when we are in a reaction, when we are in a rush, we tend to blame or criticize someone, right? So I'm inviting you to now just take few breaths and calm down and think of such conversation which is not so good, that you don't feel good, a bad conversation. Can you just think of such conversation? I'm inviting you to go into that space, close your eyes and recall your memory in the recent past, a conversation you had and you just don't enjoy it. Right. And may I ask you to share with me what kind of emotions that is coming about when you think of such conversation? I would like you to share with me.
Regret, angry,
Yeah,
regret,
Dushanti, come again.
regret,
Oh, I see. Okay. So that's a feeling that you feel regret. Fantastic.
Angry?
Thank you. Angry.
Yes.
Vajira, you said something, Vajira?
Yeah, sad.
Vajira, sorry. Sad.
Yeah, sad.
Okay. So can you see that sometimes, so we never intended to have such feelings, right? Or such end for our conversation. But again, when we are in a victim space, like we feel like we are less, or we feel like we are inadequate. So we can see that sometimes the conversation goes into more of defending, I am right and you are wrong, right? So on one side, and let us, thank you for that sharing a little bit of your thoughts and feelings. Let us see the other side of it. So if you now, from the other side, if you are empathetically receiving who you are without hearing a blame or criticism, and suppose that somebody is having a conversation with you, you are the receiver, right? But you are taking it without a blame or criticism. So may I ask you to again go back into a conversation you recently happened, right? You did a conversation or you received it, that's fine. But if there is no blame or no criticism, and you have a lot of compassion and empathy in receiving such conversation or giving something like that, how was the feeling? Like what kind of emotions that comes in? Happy? Yeah. Yes,
satisfaction,
Rajita, yes.
satisfaction,
Satisfaction.
Motivated.
Come again.
Feelings,
Motivated.
good feelings.
Sorry, Jayasekara,
Motiv-
come again.
Good feelings.
Good feelings. And someone else also said, I couldn't pick up. Yeah. So motivated, of course, right? Can you see cared for? Wow, wonderful thoughts. So basically, now you know the conversations that we have can trigger, yeah, productive. It can trigger a certain level of emotions, right? And all that is encapsulated. Those triggers are in the words that we choose, right? Now we take one step forward from there and see how we can, communicate in a way when we are observing something Okay. Now, just imagine when we observe something naturally, what happens? Immediately, our judgment and evaluation come into space. And it's very natural. You can't, it's intertwined, so you can't separate them. But again, if you practice, it can be. Now, so even one side you can see, when I observe, when I hear, when I see, so you can actually use that syntax. Mama meka dakina kota, mata ahena kota, right? Mata oya ehema kiyana kota, mata ahena kota, right? So you can see, like, structure your conversation when you're getting into a conversation by separating what you observe from what you hear, right? So that is number one. When you want to communicate, I'm going to share this little technique with you. Let us judge now. I want you to raise your voice and tell me, first statement, is it an observation or an evaluation? Come on.
Observation.
Come again.
Observation.
Observation.
Fantastic. Well done. Woo. It's an observation. So what made you to say so? No evaluation, no judgment attached to that statement, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes. How about the second one?
Evaluation.
Exactly. Exactly. Because now Sam was, if he says Sam was silent, Sam, I didn't hear from Sam, right? So that is observation. Sam did not ask a question, can be observation, but here you have an evaluation, right? So the third one, come on.
Judgment.
Exactly. Well done. Woo. Now you know how to separate the evaluation from observation, the judgment from observation, right? So I just want you to highlight this point that if you can take a breath in a conversation, right? 4 seconds breath, and make sure what you observe and separate, distinguish what your observation from your evaluation. That is a key skill for a conversationalist, right? And it cannot be stopped. Our judgment and evaluation come in our way for a conversation. And if you can say, like, practice this a little bit as a skill, it is going to be immensely helpful, right? You can be a counselor, you can be a manager. We need to have conversations day in, day out, right? So this is the first step, separating judgments, evaluations from the observations, right? So there's another, separate observations. You are too generous. So, but if you separate it, when I see you give all your lunch money to others, I think you are being too generous. That way, when you communicate, you can see the first part is the observation, but you own, I think you are being too generous. It's not saying that when I see you give lunch money, you are too generous. No, you add, I think, that's I think. You are owning that evaluation or judgment. That way, it is more conducive, it is more progressive, it is more out of judgment, out of evaluation when we are conversing. So catch this point, separate observation from evaluation. So that's a language skill once again. How do you want to put it, right? So mama dakka, mama dakino oya okkoma lunch money anitata denawa. ඒක දකින්නට මට හිතෙනවා too generous. ඕනට වැඩිය generous කියලා. ඕනට වැඩිය කාරුණික වෙනවා කියලා. හැබැයි මමයි හිතන්නේ ඒක. Right? So I think you got it. So any questions up to now? The first part, what are you picking up? Is it clear? Yes, thank you. I need a feedback. Okay, so we'll go back to the next step. Yeah. So next step is, now we know. The second thing is feelings, right? I feel, how I feel. You have to insert an emotion. Okay, now I'm asking you to do something. Think of certain conversations you recently had, probably today. What are the emotions? Can you label few emotions? You already did, right? I think you don't need to do it again for that. So I will take you through quickly, and then we'll do see how the construction is happening, right? So when you conversing with the first exercise, you already captured emotions. I feel. So when I see when I see you're angry in your face. Sorry, when I see your face frowning, or when I hear that your voice comes out loud, I feel threatened, right? So that is the construct. So you observation and feeling. So that is the second step. When you're conversing that way, it is going to be very nice, right? How you separate the feeling from thinking? Now, the first statement, I feel inadequate as a guitar player. Is it a feeling or thinking? I feel inadequate as a guitar player. Is it feeling or thinking? If somebody says like that?
Thinking.
Exactly. Well done. It's thinking. But now if you take, I feel unimportant, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel like ignored. So that is more of a feeling. So in the verbatim, in the vocals, when people talk, so your ability to pick up what is thinking, what is feeling is also very helpful, right? So as a manager, as a person who's trying to help the other one, this kind of conversation is very helpful. And the other thing is, pick up the need and the value, right? What I need or value rather than preference. It has to be a specific action. It is the value. Now, example, when I hear your louder voice, I feel threatened because I value calmness, right? So this is how you can communicate when you're communicating. Now you have three components. You have observation, then you have a feeling, and then you have your need imprinted in that discussion, right? So then last one, make a clear request. So how do you make a request? So you tell a concrete action, right? But when you say that, you're clearly requesting which one that enrich your life, something like that. So when I see that, when I hear your loud voice, I feel threatened and terrified. And I value calmness in conversation. So would you be willing to lower your voice when you're speaking to me, right? So that kind of request can be made. So I just wanted to basically highlight here, all this is what we are talking here in a conversation is more of a non-violent conversation. It is embedded in empathy. It's embedded in compassion, right? So when our feelings are not met, when we are hurt, when our feelings or maybe the needs are not met, when our value clashes, so we should be able to express that rather than getting into a victim state or getting into a more of a warrior state and fight, right? So basically, all of you are here. I know why you come in is to understand the value of generally we are coaches and consultants. So and we know like most of the conflicts in the workplace also, or maybe you can see sometimes in between departments, right? That happens because we are trying to prove we are right. And if you really go one layer down, all that happens through the words and how we communicate to each other. But if you really ask them, there isn't an intention to fight, but intention to harm anyone. They don't want violence. But again, you can see the way that we communicate, how we execute our communication creates such climate, right? So basically, this is what I wanted to share today in half an hour's time. We have taken a little bit more time. So what my request is, conversation is a lovely place where your giving and receiving happens at the same time, right? So each conversation, one conversation at a time, if you can master the conversations and be conscious of how you converse in a default manner, and see that how you can be non-judgmental, non-defending, non-evaluating in the conversation, you can like grow into a greater highest together. So that is my request and my wish. With that, so I just want to open up a conversation and share your thoughts with me. By now, what is it that you are grasping? What is it that you're taking away? Yes, someone like to share? What is it that you're taking away today? Some joined a little late, that's fine. So whoever who picked up. Darshana, would you like to share something? Gayanga. Hi, Gayanga. Yeah, Darshana.
Actually, those are very valuable. But I think what I felt is like it's not very straightforward because you need to really practice, because conversation is something that like happens in a quick phase, right? So
yeah,
sometimes when you think and kind of trying to talk, sometimes it might not happen. The flow might get interrupted. So I think the practice makes you kind of.
I think you're perfectly correct there, because this is strange, right? If you talk like this way, somebody will ask a question, right? It's not in a flow. But again, those are skills, as you know, as you said, right? Those are skills, and you can, once you practice and once you know the principle. Now, say in a conversation, having a pause and allowing you to observe and choose to not to be non-judgmental, all that are based on skills. Thank you for your thoughts. Yeah, Gayanga, how about you, Gayanga? I'm happy to see you all in the session. Oh, yeah, Gayanga, go ahead.
Yeah, so, yeah, I also, like before this, I haven't actually thought about being that conscious about trying to identify judgment and feelings and even the needs. And so yeah, I think it's good to when you try to look at it from that perspective, I think you can actually derive more deeper meaning and try to have a better conversation. Yeah, but like what Darshana said, looks like this is something that we need gradually improve by practicing and and you need to.
Yeah, Gagan. Yeah, you're right. Every conversation, there is a need expressed and a feeling expressed. So if we can honor the other person's need and feeling in the conversation without a judgment, the whole chemistry of a conversation getting into more of a, it creates more oxytocin. It opens up the mind and heart and soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's,
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm giving the opportunity for a lady to share. Ladies.
So, hi, my
Hi,
name is
Crystal.
Crystal. Yeah, I joined a little late, but I like to share my thoughts here.
Yes.
So, if it's a tough conversation, probably if I'm going to get involved with my feelings, what I'm trying to do at least, to look at myself and the other persons from the top level. Just look at that and see if what I'm actually trying to talk about, and then if it's still tough discussions to go with, I probably would keep quiet. So that will give enough time for me to rethink. Also, maybe pause it.
I'm so honored that you shared your own story and thought. I'm so honored that in a conversation here that you'll be very authentic. Yes. Now, even me as a parent, sometimes I get angry in conversations with my own children and spouse. Sometimes it's very natural. It's very natural that we can slip into a space that we are never intended to, right? And again, as you know, not to treat that and not to think about it as a victim is important. We are evolving and the consciousness can be developed. As Ganga said and Darshan said, like when we get into a practice, even the hardest conversation, so we can live with. So what happened is, like, sometimes the harder conversations we try to ignore, and that pattern is in me as well. Right? So everything nice and good conversations we enjoy, but harder conversations as leaders, we need to be able to really do harder conversations, right? When we are in positions and we need to sometimes share that unpleasant message with people, right? So beautiful. Thank you, Crystal, for being very authentic and sharing from your insight. Thanks. So we have taken 5 minutes more. So a last learning that can be shared, whoever who like to share. We'll say another lady. I'm not biased. Yeah. So there's a text message coming. When we talk, we normally focus not on the other person. Definitely. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think now I know most of you are managers and, you know, holding strong positions in organizations also. And we need to negotiate for things to meet our needs, right? And you know, like if we are only focusing on our need, and there isn't a win-win situation. But whoever who comes into a conversation, they also have their emotional needs. They also have their other needs, right? You know, I'm not going to talk about needs and emotions now much. This point has a real value. Mostly we are biased to our side only. Then there isn't any negotiation. Then there isn't any win-win in our conversations. Yes. So it's a great skill to practice if you really want to harness the power of a conversation. It has to be win-win. It has to be resolving. It has to be finding solutions kind of a conversation. And satisfying, as Rajita said, fulfilling conversation. And someone said productive conversation, right? Developmental conversation. Excellent. Yes, with that, I think thank you very much for coming in. And may I run a small poll, and if somebody wants to, I'm going to launch a small poll. It will appear, and I would like you to attend to it. that will help me and my colleagues to really do some valuable sessions in the future. Okay, it will take just